Everything in that tone you just heard was absolutely free. I'm using Ignite Amps by STL Tones, and this is the Emissary amp head that I'm using. I'll leave links to everything in the description, but you can go down to this link here from STL Tones and download this amp head that you get for free. And also they offer this free impulse response loader as well that you can use, which I'm using in part of my tone here as well. All right, I'm going to walk you through the signal chain here that I've got. So first up, I have a EQ, and all these plugins are free as well. The only one that's not free is this Petrucci plugin, but I'm only using this so you could hear the different tones when I pitch shifted down. So the first one is this Reaper EQ, and I like to EQ some of the DIs before they hit the amp, just to give them a little bit brighter sound, especially if you're using older strings. But you can turn this off. The guitar tone sounds like this with it turned off. And with it turned on, it sounds like this. So next up in the signal chain was the pitch shifter, which don't worry about that. Next up, we have the free Reaper noise gate, Regate. So I'm just kind of getting rid of the hiss that's coming through the amp. You can see it's idling there, so I'm just getting rid of that. Next in the chain, I'm adding the stock Reaper distortion plugin, and I have these settings here. I've got it to 23, 10, and -12 on the max volume, and the channel's stereo. And one thing nice that's about Reaper, all the plugins come with a mix knob here. So I've got it to 22 or 23% wet there, just to tone it back a little bit. And it gives it a little bit of a boost. So it sounds like this without the distortion. And when I add that distortion, it sounds like this. So next in the chain is the amp head that I've got here, and I've loaded up the lead chug setting here. They've got a few different settings. They've got some clean sounds as well, but I put the lead chug on, and I changed some of the settings here. I dialed back the gain a little bit, switched it to bright setting here, and also with the bass there, I kind of gave it a little bit extra. With the low mids, kind of pumped that up a little bit as well. Also with this high mids, I switched this switch here to shape. I think it kind of gives it a little bit more brighter sound. But the good thing about this amp is a lot of these settings, you can hear the difference and what it's doing. So you can really shape your tone with this free plugin just in the amp head itself, which is really nice. Got the treble dialed back a little bit because of those high frequencies, and the master lead dialed back a bit as well. I left the depth the same and the presence kind of a little bit over the middle mark there as well. And that's all I did to the amp head there. So the main thing that comes down to a tone in an amp comes down to the cabinet. So this thing here, which is part of the free download from the Ignite Amps and STL Tones, it's an IR loader. So you can load up impulse responses, which are these little wave files here, which basically emulates what the speakers sound like. So all of these ones on the right come stock with this plugin. But the good thing about this is you can load up your own, you can buy some, you can get some for free. This one here I loaded up on the left-hand side here is actually a free one, which I'll leave a link in the description that you can go get it from Joey Sturgis Tones YouTube channel. It's in their description. You can download that one for free. That's where I got it. And it's a real nice Mesa impulse response. So I chucked that one on and I blended it with this one that comes with Ignite Amps. So this impulse response on the left sounds like this on its own. And the one on the right sounds like this on its own. And both together they sound like this. So I kind of blended the one on the right there to give it a bit more bite on the guitar. That's just for personal taste, but you can try out all different ones as well, which is really fun. So the last plugin I have on this guitar chain is just an EQ, cleaning up some of the little noises and resonances that kind of happen when you add distortion and play. So just picking up those with that. So that's it for all of the guitar chain. And that's all going into a guitar bus here. So we'll check that out here as well. And this is all free plugins, part of Reaper as well. So first thing we have is an EQ, another Reaper EQ, and a couple of weird moves here, but just to kind of clean up some of the sounds to my liking. But you can adjust this, and that's why I got a few different EQs here, because you can get a lot of different sounds by this amp. So it's really nice. You can get different tones. So I was just experimenting to see what works and what I liked. And I came down to this EQ here, or a couple of different moves here just to kind of brighten it up, and some of the mid-range here just to kind of give it some space when it was with the other instruments. If I turn this EQ off, this is what it sounds like without this EQ. And this is what it sounds like when I add the EQ. And the last thing in the signal chain is just a limiter here, and I've got from Reaper, and I've just kind of brick walled it here, just kind of keep it all compressed and nice to bring it up in the mix. So that's everything I'm using to get that tone. As you can see, all free plugins, and it sounds pretty good. I could use this in a mix, and I'm pretty happy with it, and I like the tone that this amp has. So I've got a lot of different guitar packs, and it's really amazing to see these days you can get some really nice free stuff out there. So hopefully you enjoyed that and you found a new amp to play with and have fun with, and feel free to copy these settings and try them, and let me know how you go in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.